So we'll start out with the Barnyard. The thing I love about this deck is that it's huge. When you're first starting back skating or even starting out, especially as a big guy, this deck gives you a lot of space to stand on. It's 9.5 inches wide, which is an inch wider than what the usual deck is nowadays. The first reason I'm so comfortable on this deck is because it comes from the time period that I grew up skateboarding. You started out with these tiny little penny boards, basically, and as people started skating the giant ramps, half pipes, and that, boards got bigger and wider, and then when street kicked in, they started getting smaller again. The time period that I was skating back in the day, late 80s, early 90s, was with the bigger, wider decks. Anything up to, 10 inches even. So this 9.5 inch deck is very comfortable for me, just already from the get-go. But even with all of that aside, starting back skating as a big guy, this deck has been a godsend. It gives you so much space to stand on, so much more opportunity to learn that control and balance, because you just have more space to stand on. The only thing I found uncomfortable about this deck is that the nose is really short and stubby. If you look at the size of the tail compared to the nose, this was arguably the first two-tail board to be produced, but the nose is still a lot shorter than the tail. So getting back on this board and pushing on this board, I kind of felt like I was going to fly off the front every time I pushed. Now, I've since gotten used to that, but when I started using it, that was a big concern. Now, that's as far as the deck goes. The other thing I love about this setup is the wheels. The trucks are independent 169s, so they're super wide. The wheels are old school reissues of Pal Peralta G-Bones. They're huge. They provide a super smooth ride, which again really lends hand to learning to skate again, getting your control and getting that balance down. And one of the best things I've found about having these big wheels is when I was skating around places like school parking lots and things like that, some of those parking lots are pretty sketchy and pretty chopped up, but these wheels, if you were going fast enough, allow you to glide right over that stuff, where the smaller wheels would just throw you right off the board. The negative things I've noticed about this setup is basically the same as what makes it so great. It's big and heavy. Its size adds a lot more wood than if you were skating a 7.5 inch board, or even an 8 or an 8.5. The trucks are bigger, the wheels are bigger, and all of that means more weight. So even though you can see in some of my older videos where I'm learning to ollie again, I'm still getting this thing 12 to 15 inches off the ground, but it's really heavy. So you're really working to pull it up there with you.